Roll for Crit is brought to you by our Patreon supporters. Come roll with us at patreon.com/rollforcrit.
It's the week of January 18th, 2021. Let's see what projects are worth your money in this week's Kickstarter Pickstarter.
Our first project this week is one that is most likely already over. You might have already missed it if you didn't get there before watching this video. It's CMON's Animation Collection, which is a series of 3 different games, all based around different animated properties. So there are 2 games using their brand new Mayhem system. One is based on Teen Titans Go, the other on Looney Tunes. And then there is Scooby-Doo, the board game, which is a wholly original standalone Scooby-Doo co-op game. They launched this just after we put out our Pickstarter last week, and they only had it up for 1 week. So we're really not able to pitch it to you too much to try to get you to see if you want to back it, but we thought it was big enough that it was worth discussing. The 2 Mayhem games are miniatures games that I would say are akin to, in my mind, something like the recently released Funkoverse strategy game, wherein both of them are compatible. You can mix and match different figures, but they do have certain things that set them apart. Teen Titans one has mission cards that make you more have personal goals. The way that the combat works is a little bit different, as you would imagine, befitting the different types of characters therein. And then the Scooby-Doo game is co-op. You're playing as the Scooby Gang. You are putting down cards. Actually, it has an interesting card system where the cards have initiative numbers, and depending on what numbers you are, that determines your turn order. They Gloomhavenized Scooby-Doo a little bit, and you're trying to stop the monsters from taking over. It's a little bit, seems like a take on like a Pandemic or a Horrified style game, lighter, family-friendly game with the Scooby-Doo characters. Again, you probably can't back this one unless you really, really hurry. You might have a couple hours, depending on when this video has gone up. But what do you think about all these animation games, the Mayhem system? Is this something that catches your fancy, Will?
Well, now that you've mentioned Scooby-Doo Gloomhaven, that's what I want now. But
yeah, this is the next best thing.
I will say, while I'm not like hugely crazy about it, for whatever reason, Teen Titans Go, whenever it comes out outside the TV show, I've liked it. Like, I think it did a great job in the deck building game, and so I'm like, maybe it actually would be enjoyable. I don't know how, but maybe. And I mean, the crossover thing is nice, and the fact they also have, I'm pretty sure all the miniatures are actually painted, if I recall.
Mm-hmm,
so
yep, fully painted.
Which makes sense if you're especially aiming this for maybe a younger audience since it's cartoons. Which reminds me, the other one's Looney Tunes, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, correct me, I think you told me about this. The new Looney Tunes, Elmer Fudd does not have a gun. He has a scythe. Because apparently that's better for children.
Yeah, I think he's got a gun in this one.
Okay, good.
Actually, no, I don't think he has anything. I think he might just be Elmer Fudd. I think he's just standing there.
That's a shame.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it makes sense that I guess they don't want to sell guns to children. I mean, look, we don't need to get into the politics of it right now, but yeah, I look at these and, I know CMON gets a lot of hate sometimes, and sometimes I'm like, maybe want to defend them a little bit. This time I just am bored, to be honest with you. I look at this Kickstarter and none of it looks that exciting to me. You can get each of the Mayhem games go for $50. The Scooby-Doo is a little more expensive, but you can get all 3 together for $160, which is a lot. But I guess for 3 full games with painted minis, not a terrible deal. We'll see, when they go to retail, how that differs. But overall, not something that's really getting me super excited. I don't even though I like these properties, the gameplay just looks sort of. It doesn't look like it's, especially for the Mayhem system. I feel like for me, I can tell that it's not designed for those characters. It's somewhat generic, and it's maybe just not my cup of tea. But I'm sure they're all functional. Well, and maybe yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, if this does interest you, you better be quick about it, because like we said, clock is already ticking or is already gone off. So
they will be going to retail. There are just some Kickstarter exclusive things that
of course there is.
You couldn't have gotten, but these will be at retail. So even if you missed out, just wait for a while and we'll see when they come out later on.
Bezier Games is back with another collector's edition of one of its popular games, this time Castles of Mad King Ludwig. If you don't know about this game, it's all about you building a castle for said Mad King by drafting tiles of different sizes into your castle, each of them with different interactions, wanting to be near other tiles or not near other tiles, and in order to score the most points. Now, if you don't know, Bezier a while back released a collector's edition of Suburbia, which had a whole bunch of cool stuff for that game. This is no exception here. We've got beautiful new tiles. We have previous expansions as well as 2 new ones. We've got decrees, which give each player a unique power to use, making it a bit more asymmetrical, as well as towers, which of course have these mini towers, actual miniatures, painted, so you can have that sticking up above your board. This is a game that, well, we enjoy a lot. It's a weird drafting game that has all these weird styles and funny interactions. And I definitely love the idea of them actually updating the art, because I will admit it is a little bit dry, but it's easy to point out in the previous game. So seeing these beautiful pieces, I think, will definitely help bring up the game's visual quality, especially for maybe those who are unsure.
Yeah, maybe it's rose-tinted glasses. I remember the art being like fine, I guess, in the original one. Like looking at this, I was like, oh yeah, that's the same art. Like I didn't remember, I didn't realize they changed it. It's just been a long time since we've really played the original version, I think. But it does look beautiful. I also love that aside from the art, I feel like one of the biggest changes in this, is most significant, is the scoreboard.
Oh yeah, that crazy moat.
Yeah, it's dual layered scoreboard, and they also have 2 sides. So if your table is rectangular or square or round, that like could fit the different shapes that you need, which is great. I mean, it's a crazy thing for a collector's edition that, most games it's not worth spending the extra money on, but it's cool that they have done that. So they think they did a good job here. And the colossal edition.
Oh yeah, I didn't even bring that up. Of course, with any board game, bigger is better. So there is also a colossal edition where the pieces look like they're at least 3 times the size. So I guess if you have a bigger table or
really big table,
a convention, I'm almost certain
floor.
We'll see this at a convention. You can actually get that bigger one. The base collector is $99 with that colossal version at $169. And I'm really curious to see if Bezier does this treatment with their other games in their collection.
This next project is actually 2 games in one, both from Eagle-Gryphon Games and both from designer Alf Siegert, and they are also both 2-player games. They also, once again, both have sort of a medieval theme to them. The first one is called Illumination. This is a brand new game where 2 players are competing monks, and you're trying to become the new head of the scriptorium. And one of you is a nice monk who wants to put nice angels and pretty pictures into their books. The other one is kind of a deviant monk, and they're drawing things like demons and dragons. And each player is going to be placing tiles with their different preferred illustrations into 3 different books, and you are placing those tiles and matching them, depending on where you place them. If you put them next to other tiles or onto a certain color space, you might be rewarded with coins or other kinds of benefits. And then you're also wanting to try to surround your opponent's tiles with your own. If certain factions are surrounded by others, then a little battle takes place, and you're going to be gaining points. And I thought this one looked very cool because you essentially have 3 different books, 3 different battlefields, and even though there's only 2 of you, you have to look between all 3 of them and decide which ones you need to focus on and how to place your tiles in them. And the other game is called The Road to Canterbury, and in this one, this is actually a new edition of a game from 2011. It has all new art, some updated components and things, and you are attempting to trick pilgrims on the road into sinning so that you can then redeem them for their sins. That's sort of your role, but you have to get them to sin before they can do that. So you're trying to get these people to do one of these 7 deadly sins, but if they do too many of them, they will die, but you will get points if you're the one who has managed to corrupt them the most. 2 really kind of funny takes, and I enjoyed Heir to the Pharaoh, which was another strictly 2-player Alf Siegert design. So both of these sound pretty cool.
I gotta say, I'm a little worried now. It seems like a lot of corruption going on in these games.
Yeah, these are not ones you want to get for your good Christian household. These are gonna corrupt your kids. Mom and dad, look out. But I think they are kind of more on the Euro side of medium, perhaps 2-player games. If you like 2-player games, I think you probably won't go wrong with either of these.
It seems really
Yeah.
nice too that you got a completely new game as well as a remake of a returning one. Sort of the
Yeah.
best of both worlds.
Yeah, it's nice that they put them both in there. So you can get either one for just $29 or get the two together for $56. That's Illumination and The Road to Canterbury.
Our next game is all about celebrating in Buddy Party at Maple Valley. This quick, cute little game is all about how you are bunnies throwing parties. The way it works is you're going to be drafting cards as well as villagers in order to try to set up the best party. The deck of cards will have plenty of cards with abilities, but the main thing to look out for are moons and stars. These are the cards you'll want to use in order to prove you have the best party. Whoever gets the most of these decorations will be declared the winner. However, there is a small catch. You see, these cards will have arrows at the bottom of them pointing to the left or the right. Whoever the winner is pointing to the most of, so if the winner has the most arrows pointing to the right, the player on the right also wins for being the one who helped host the party. So in other words, this isn't simply just collecting the most stuff for yourself. You really want your neighbors to get the most arrows pointed to you just in case they throw the best party. And to me, that was the thing that caught my eye. I thought it was sort of a funny idea, not only because you're drafting to pick your own cards, but what you give your opponents. And I just imagine less being out making my own party look great, but just being like, look at my neighbors. They have throw such good parties. Therefore, I'm really good at throwing parties.
Yeah, winning by association. And there actually are two winners, right? I think I saw that.
Yes, it's the one who has the most, and whoever has the most where their arrows are pointing. That's why it's not a first, second. It's there will always be two. Not sure
I
if
like
there's a tie in arrows. That didn't occur to me to now. What happens there?
I'm sure they have a rule for that too. But yeah, I like that concept, and the art is truly adorable in this one. It looks cute, it looks polished. So there aren't enough games with cute bunnies in them, I don't think.
There always could be more. Yeah, I would say with this art in the two winner style, this is definitely a game that's like could also be a good bridge between before you jump from co-op to competitive with people.
There you go. Yeah.
You're still all working together. It's just not as bad as maybe some other more cutthroat games out there. And it is cheap. For only $15, you can get a copy of Bunny Party and throw a party for your friends. And hopefully, they help you throw one as well.
My next pick is a bit of an offbeat one. It is called Paper Apps Dungeon, and it is intended to be hopefully the first of a series of paper app type projects. It is a pad of paper and with a pencil and a die. That's all you need. That's what it comes with. And each page has a randomly generated dungeon. And you will open one page. It's just for one player. And you roll a die, see how far you're going to move. And you draw a line however you decide or however you're able to through the dungeon. And every once in a while, you'll come across a space with a monster in it or treasure or something like that. Depending on what it is, you'll interact with it in a different way. And then in between dungeons, you can also find a shop and you'll be able to purchase some upgrades until finally you get through the entire pad of paper. And at the end, you can write down some stats, how many times you died, etc. It's basically like a roguelike video game that they have distilled into a very simple pen and paper form, or pencil and paper in this case. A really unique idea, I think, that again, it's like very, very simple, very straightforward. My only real concern about the playing of it is that I feel like rolling that die every time you want to move might get tedious. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to feel after like playing through a lot of these dungeons, but I love the idea of having a game in a little notebook that you can just take out and play anywhere that you are. And again, the idea that it's randomly generated. So in fact, it's not just randomly generated in one copy. I think there are 100 variations. So you could buy multiple of these pads of paper and you're going to have a completely different set every single time that you play through it.
I mean, that sounds really cool. I wonder, do they have any rules if you were like using a pen and it bleeds through?
I don't think they do, no, but that could be a home variant perhaps that you put into place. This is another one, by the way, speaking of cheap, $5. For $5, you can get your hands on one of these. It's just a pad of paper, a die, and a little pencil. And it has been funded pretty high, way past their goal, I think, because it's so cheap and a clever little idea. So take a look if it's something that sounds fun to you. It's called Paper App Dungeon.
We're ending up with one that's really just for parents out there, or maybe arguably some drunk partiers in the future we can get together. And that's Floor is Lava. This is a, well, Twister-like game in which you're going to place these colored squares on the floor, and you're going to have your kids hop from different squares depending on where the spinner lands, as you are the Tiki Master, as well as, of course, give them plenty of other fun acting or weird challenges. And either the last person standing, in terms of being a survivor not touching lava, or collecting all the colored wristbands, is going to be the winner. I just thought this was very cute. It's based on your classic Floor is Lava, but you now have colored squares, and instead of it being like your basic board, because you have these squares, you can move them around. It's not on a strict playmat. You could bring furniture in this to make things weirder. It just seemed like the kind of thing I felt as a kid would be really cool and fun to do. And plus throwing those weird challenges and maybe make up some of your own for the kids. I think this could be a really fun thing to do with a family.
It does look really cute. I agree with you. I think this is the kind of thing I would have probably enjoyed a lot as a kid. I hope they do a tie-in though with the Netflix Scheme show, or if they don't, I will purchase this and I will take the role of the announcer and make horrible puns and commentary throughout the entire thing, just to entertain myself. I'll force my niece and nephew to play, and I'll just torture them. That's my intention with this game.
You've heard it here, folks. There is now going to be the exclusive Jonathan Estes expansion in which you can play the recording, and he'll just give commentary no matter what's going on in the game.
Yeah, look for that soon.
So if you want the game, there's currently still an early bird special out as of this recording for $23, but regularly this will go for $36.
One more to leave you with before we go. It's called Primal: The Awakening. We did a full-length preview video all about this game. It's a co-op monster battling game with big miniatures for these different monsters. You're going to be moving around in a circle and attacking them with different cards. Go check out our preview video to get the full details on it. But if you like some monster battling, this might be one for you to check out.
It's a great boss rush, and as you can see in the video, we were pretty happy with it. But there are plenty of other Kickstarters out there that we didn't get the chance to mention. Let us know if you think there was a cool one we missed out on. Unfortunately, every now and then, just like the one we started off with, maybe they have a short period between Kickstarters that we just weren't able to get to in time. But hopefully, we'll still be able to check out whatever Kickstarters you think were cool. But until then, I'm Will.
I'm Jonathan.
And this has been Kickstarter Pickstarter. Catch the latest from Roll for Crit by liking and subscribing, and don't forget to support us on Patreon.
Don't get analysis paralysis. Just click those buttons. Help us out.